Welcome back. There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. C.S. Lewis. This is freecodecamp.org. We're going to be doing all of the freecodecamp.org certifications throughout the year in 2024. Follow along, subscribe if you like the content, and learn to code with me. Right now, we're working on responsive web design certification. And specifically within there, right now we are learning HTML forms by building a registration form. And this video is going to be steps 1 through 30. All right, so here we go. Step 1. All right, here's a preview of what you will build. Registration form. Nice. Okay, first name, last name, email, password, count type, update, upload a profile picture, input, how did you hear about us, bio, accept and submit. Start coding. All right, step 1. Welcome to the registration form. Start by adding your doc type HTML declaration at the top so the browser knows what type of document it's reading. All right, that's it for step 1. On to step 2. Step 2. Below the doc type, add an HTML element with a language attribute. Set the EN so that you have a place to start putting some code. Okay. Okay. EB. It's no good. EN. All right. Check. All right. That's it for step 2. On to step 3. Next, add opening and closing head and body tags within the HTML. Hmm. All right. Check. All right. That's it for step 3. On step 4. All right. Step 4. Add a title and a meta element to the head. Give your project the title of registration form. All right. Um, Give the charset attribute with the value of UTF-8 to your meta. Okay. All right. That's it for step 4. On step 5. Nest self-closing link element within the head. right. And give it a rel attribute with style sheet and an href of styles.css. That's it for 5 on to 6. Within the body, provide a heading context for the content by adding an h1. All right. With the text registration form. All right. Check the code. Congratulations, your code passes. Submit. All right, on to step 7. All right, below the heading, use the following text within a paragraph element to encourage users to register. So we're going to put a paragraph element. And we're going to copy this stuff. And we're going to paste it in the paragraph. Check. All right, on to step 8. All right, step 8. The VH unit stands for viewport height, and it's relative to 1% of the height of the viewport. It is time to spruce the project up with some CSS, begin by giving the body. So we'll make a body selector, a width of 100%, and a height of 100 VH, which is viewport height. Okay, that's it for step 8. On to step 9. Step 9. Get rid of the horizontal scroll bar by setting the body default margin and adding some browsers to 0. Body margin. Now get rid of the horizontal scroll bar by setting body default margin. Okay. Margin is auto, and by adding some browsers to 0. Check. Sorry, your code does not pass. should give the margin a value of 0. So auto, we'll just give it 0. All right. That's it for step 9. On to step 10. That's better. Now make the background easy on the eyes by changing the body background color to this color. All right. Then to see the text, change the color to, or no, should just be color. It's hashtag F5, F6, F7. Okay. All right. That's it for step 10. On to step 11. All right. Step 11. As suggested by the title, you are creating a form. So after the paragraph element, insert a form element with an action attribute targeting this. Okay. Copy. All right. Congratulations. That's it for step 11 on to step 12. All right. Step 12. The method attribute specifies how to send form data to the URL specified in the action attribute. The form data can be sent via a GET request as URL parameters with method equals GET, or via a POST request as data in the request body with method equals POST. Set the method attribute to send your form data via POST request. All right, so we're going to do another attribute in here, and it's going to be method equals POST. All right, that's it for step 12. On to step 13. All right, as the form will have 3 distinct sections, add 3 field set elements within the form. All right, so for step 13, On to step 14. Step 14. The first field set will hold the name, email, and password fields. Start by adding 4 label elements to the first field set. Okay. Control Shift D. Whoa. Cancel. Oh. So there's a little trick I learned before. So if you hold Control, Alt, and D down and press down, but why is it not? Hold on. All right, I guess it's got to be lined up first. So it's Control, Alt, and D, and then you can type on all of the lines at the same time. And this is going to be label elements. Okay. Check our code. Sorry, the code does not pass. Oh, 4, not 3. Sorry. So we'll just add one more. Copy. Paste. All right, that's better. That's it for step 14. On to step 15. Okay, so we can see our field sets. Add the following labels, add the following text to the label elements. Enter your first name, enter your last name, enter your email. All right, so we'll just copy and paste. Copy, paste, copy, paste. To your email, copy, paste. Create a new password, copy. Whoa, whoa. Paste. Okay. Congratulations. On to step 16. All right, step 16. The REM unit stands for root EM, and it's relative to the font size of the HTML element. As label elements are in line by default, they are displayed side by side on the same line, making their text hard to read. To make them appear on separate lines, add a display block to the label element and add margin of 0.5 rem0 to separate them from each other. Okay, so we're going to make a label selector for the CSS rule. All right, and we're going to add the display property to block level display. All right, I put them all on their own line. And then we're going to add the margin property. The margin is going to be 0.5 rem, and it's going to be 0. Check. All right, that's it for step 16. Congratulations, on to step 17. Step 17. Nest an input element within each label. Be sure to add each input after the label text. um, and include a space after the colon. All right, so first let's put a space between each of these, or I should say a space after each of these. Now, remember the trick to do all of them at the same time. Is it Control Alt D? Do I just click? No, I don't know. I'll just copy it. There's a trick just like where you can do Control Alt D and then just go down a bunch of lines. You can also select specific lines only, but I don't remember how to do it. All right, so we're gonna put input elements. All right, so we have input elements. Do I have to put it within the label? Ah, put it within each label. Okay, not underneath of each label, within. So right there, right there, right there, right there. All right, that should be kind of what they're looking at. To make it look nicer, you'd probably just would spread it out in your code for readability for yourself while you're coding. You would do one of these setups where you know that this is the beginning, and that's the closing. This is the beginning of the input, that's the closing of the input. Oh, wait, but input. I think inputs are self-closing, so I don't think you need the closing tag. But let's see what it says. You should add a second input after the label. Text, enter your last name. Okay, enter your last name. So it definitely doesn't need the ending elements. I think it's got it confused because I think input is a self-closing element. So it doesn't need the closing tag, it just needs the opening tag. Let's see if it makes more sense then. You're getting there. You should add the second input after the label. Okay, so I've got my label. I've got my input. Okay, that goes to that. That goes to that. Okay, that goes to that. That goes to that. Let's see. Hmm. Oh, congratulations, your code passes. Okay. I don't know why it would have made a difference, but that's fine. That just made it work. Because the inputs are now within the label elements. They were within them before, but I guess it just didn't like it right next to the label itself. All right, so that is step 17 all done. Submit and go to the next challenge. All right. Step 18. Just wanted a space there for some reason. The following accessibility best practices link the input element and the label elements together by using a for attribute. Use first name, last name, email, and new password as values for the respective ID attributes. Okay. So the labels here should be pretty easy. So we can do the shortcuts here, which is Control Alt D, hold all those, and then press down. All right. So the labels should have an attribute named ID, and that should be equal to, and then they're going to be equal to different things. So it's going to be equal to first dash name. It's going to be equal to last dash name. And it should be lowercase, it shouldn't be capital. All right, then it's going to be equal to email. It's going to be equal to new password. All right. And then on the input side of things, it should be 4. So, hmm. So it looks like we're not going to be able to do that trick for here. Sign. D. All right. Look at nah, it won't. It's no good. So we'll just do it one at a time. So this one is input, and we're going to put for attribute equal to first name. And then we're going to jump down to the next one. This is a for attribute equal to last name. Okay. And this is going to be a for attribute equal to email. All right. And this one's going to be a for attribute equal to new password. All right. Check. Sorry. The first input element should have an ID of first name. Okay, so the IDs go on the input and the fours go on the labels. So I had them backwards. ID. 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 This we could actually use that trick on here. Okay. Check. All right, and that's what they want. So take a second and look at that, and then we'll move on. Pause it if you need to. We'll move on to step 19 then. All right. Step 19. Specifying the type attribute of a form element is important for the browser to know what kind of data it should expect. If the type is not specified, the browser will default to text. Give the first two input elements the type attribute of text, the third type of email, and the fourth a type of password. Okay, so First input is going to have a type. Oh, equal to text. Second input is going to have a type equal to text. Third input is an email, so it's going to have a type equal to email. And then the last input is a password, so it's going to have a type equal to password. All right, see if this works. All right, congratulations. That's it for step 19. Take a minute to look at it if you need to take a look at where I put those, and then go on to step 20. All right, step 20. Your first input element with the type of submit is automatically set to submit its nearest parent form element. To handle the form submission, after the last field set element, add an input element with the type attribute set to submit, value attribute set to submit. So after the last field set, okay, create an input element. And the type is going to be equal to lowercase submit, I believe. Yep. And the value is going to be set to uppercase submit. Let's check. All right, and I made a little submit button there. Okay, good deal. On to the next, step 21. All right, at this point, you should be able to submit the form. However, you might notice that not much happens. To make the form more interactive, add the required attribute to the input elements in the field set. Okay. So where is our inputs? Oh, should I just post space? Okay. Copy. All right. Paste. 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 All right. Let's check this out. Check out your code. All right. Congratulations. That's it for step 21. Take a look at the code. Pause it if you need to. On to step 22. Certain type attribute values come with built-in form validation, For example, type email requires that the value be a valid email address. Add a custom validation to the password input element by adding a min length attribute with a value of 8. Doing so prevents inputs of less than 8 characters being submitted. So we are going to add a min length attributes to the password input. Eight. Congratulations. That's it for step 22. On to step 23. All right. With type equals password, you can use the pattern attribute to define a regular expression that the password must match to be considered valid. Add a pattern attribute to the password input element to require the input to match this regular expression. Copy. Pattern. The above regular expression matches 8 or more lowercase letters or the digits 0 to 5, then remove the min-length attribute and try it out. No, I didn't read the part where it said remove mid-length. Min-length. That would have helped. All right, now it works. All right, so regular expressions, I don't know too much about them, but I feel like they're a little bit complicated, but we'll get to that. But I think once you understand them, it makes a lot of things very, very easy, much easier. All right, submit and go to step 24. All right, step 24. Let us go to the next part of the registration form. This section will ask for the type of account the user will be opening. Start by adding 2 label elements to the second field set. Okay. All right. On to step 25. All right, users will be allowed to choose either a personal or business. To do this with each one, within each of the first 2 label elements, add 1 input element with type radio. Oh, all right. On to step 26. All right, step 26. With each corresponding label element, and immediately after the input element, add a space and add the following: personal and business. Okay. All right, on to step 27. All right, you only want one radio input to be selected at a time. However, the form does not know the radio inputs are related, because right now we can select both. To relate the radio inputs, give the same name attribute with a value of account type. All right, so we're gonna, in our input, we're gonna put a name attribute. All right, and it's gonna be equal to account type. Very good. Code passes. Submit onto the next. Going to step 28. All right, step 28. Currently, users can submit the form without checking the radio inputs, although previously you had used required attribute to indicate that all of the input is required. It won't work in this case because adding required to both inputs will convey the wrong information to users. To solve this, you can put the context of what is needed by adding a legend element with the text account type required before the label elements within the second field set. Right. So we're going to have a legend element. Okay. And to solve this, you can provide context of what is needed by adding a legend element with text account type required. So I don't think legend's self-closing. Okay, good. And the legend is going to have text right here. Copy, put that in the legend. Perfect. And then besides that, checked attribute to personal input. And then pre-selects the personal, so one of them is selected. Check the code. Maybe there's too many spaces. Yep, that was it. Too many spaces. All right, on to step 29. Follow accessibility best practices by linking the input elements and the label elements in the second field set. Use personal account and business account as values for the respective ID attributes. Okay, our label elements. Again, the trick is Control Alt D, hold those three down, and then press down. And then the labels are for. All right. And the inputs will do the same thing. Control Alt D down. All right. And then they have ID attributes equal to. All right. The first one is for personal account. Whoa. Copy. So ID, paste, ID, paste. And then the second one is for business accounts. Copy, ID, paste, ID, therefore, paste. That should be it. All right. That's it for step 29. On to step 30. All right, step 30. You need to confirm that the user has read the terms and conditions. Add a label element inside the newly created label element. Add an input element and set the type attribute to checkbox. Make this input element required so that the users cannot sign up without agreeing to the terms and conditions. Okay, so at the end of our field sets, but before our submit input, we're going to add a label element. Okay. All right. And then in there, we're going to create an input. The input type is going to be checkbox. Checkbox. Make sure you spell it right. All right. Made a little checkbox. And then this is going to be required. All right. And add an ID and a for attribute with the value terms and conditions. Copy. So the label will have a for attribute equal to terms and conditions. And the input will have an ID attribute equal to terms and conditions. See if that's what it's looking for. All right. Congratulations, your code passes. Submit the code to continue. On to step 31, and that is where we will continue in the next video series that I post. So this was step 1 to 30. I'm gonna be doing the next video will be 30 to 60 maybe. And that is where we're at. So thanks for watching. If you like the content, you're learning how to code this year, learn to code with me. I'm learning all in 2024. Going to be doing all of these free code camp certifications this year. Let's learn how to code. Let's kill it. Let's become programmers so we can work anywhere in the world we want to work. All right. I'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe. I'll see you soon.